Alright, welcome to the channel. My name is Eric, and I thought in between having to take care of my cows here shortly and working on inventory, I thought I'd go one step farther with you of this morning's video on getting ready for the coming season. And some of the things that I talked about, I can go more in depth into. So, where do you want to start? We can start with fuel line. Now, fuel line comes in all different shapes and sizes. And what I would recommend for you guys that even have a regular shop, there's no reason for you to go out and buy a 50-foot roll, bulk fuel line. What I would recommend is there's sellers like I am on eBay and on Amazon that will sell it to you by the foot. So, 5-10 foot is a great starting number. You don't need a lot of fuel line, but it's handy to have around. And that way it saves you money of having to buy a 50-foot roll that you may never go through. We go through a lot of it, so I buy a lot of it because we sell a lot of it. Fuel filters. As I was explaining there this morning, we basically carry two different ones. I've got more than that, but this is your basic, let's get ready for the season. And here's this style. Probably most of you have seen this if you're an older mechanic. This is on a lot of the older machines, and the rotary part number for this is 12949, or the 10 pack is 1349. You don't need 10. You can go onto eBay, buy 3 or 4 of them, have them handy. The other style that we use on the bulk of the riders, swishers, you name it, the part number ends up being a 12619. And most of you already know this, but the nice thing I like about the rotary, they come with an arrow telling you which direction the fuel is traveling. So if you have the arrow going this way, which it says flow right on it, I've seen most people hook it up this way from the fuel tank to the carburetor. It's not going to work. You got to have it so that the flow is going the right direction, or you're going to end up, it'll act like it's running out of fuel because you're not getting enough fuel into the system. Again, you don't need to go out and buy a 20 pack. You can buy these one at a time. Grease. Just a good quality all-purpose grease. And you could buy a cheapy grease gun, which the things you're going to run into are like on the front spindles where the riders, the spindles on the deck, and on some of the better machines you'll have a lot of greasable points on it, especially like the John Deere, Simplicity, Ferris. So you want to make sure you know where those grease fittings are and you grease them when they come in for your customers. We talked about synthetic oil. This is a 5W20, and that's fine too. 10W30 synthetic, fine too. It's going to cost you a few cents more, but as far as trying to keep synthetic and non-synthetic in the shop for what it costs, the difference, go with the synthetic. That way you're not putting a non-synthetic into a synthetic engine that requires more lubrication. It takes more to break this down than it does your conventional oil. Now, you can get it in the gallon at Walmart. We get ours by the 55 gallon, but I carry this around because this is what I put into my side-by-side. But Walmart grade 10W30 fully synthetic is going to do everything that you want it to do. Now, as we were talking about it, there's basically 4 different types of oil filters. Now, this one here, and it's the rotary 12864. That's going to go on your John Deere's, a lot of your Kawasaki engines, your Hondas, you know. And then you have the low profile Briggs. They don't have a part number on this for me because I buy them by the case, but pretty easy to recognize. It's got an 041822 on it. Then you have kind of the bigger Briggs and Stratton ones. And this is a 11922. And then you have the upstep to the Kohler. We use this on a lot of our Kohlers, and that's a 12622. But for you guys just getting into it, one or two of each. I mean, it depends on how often you run into a Kawasaki engine. If you don't run into them, don't buy them. If you're running into a lot of Briggs, this is going to be your all-around low-profile Briggs oil filter. Some come with the heavier, thicker filters. But as you can see, there's not a lot of difference in size, right? But when it comes up against that cowl, there is a difference. Enough so that you can't get the cowl shut tight. So if it comes with a low, stay with the low. Comes with a bigger one, stay with the bigger one. Kohler, they're all like this, you know. And I would buy 2 or 3 of the Kohler and 2 or 3 of the Briggs, and then the other ones in between. Carb cleaner. If Jason hasn't got all of it from Walmart, I would suggest Walmart. Stable's got a good product. We like it. Walmart, just as good. PB Blaster, you're going to want that on the shelf in the shop when you're working on stuff. You know, you don't need to get a lot of it. Can at a time is fine. If you're doing a lot of repairs, you're going to go through a lot of carb cleaners, so I would say 2 or 3 cans while you're right there and just keep replacing them. And then it comes down to spark plugs, the ones that I talked to you this morning about. And this is the RJ19LM. Pretty common plug. This is the RC12YC. You see this on a lot of riding lawnmowers. And then the RCJ8Y or 6Y. You see that on a lot of your chainsaws, trimmers. So hopefully that's kind of giving you a better idea. I mean, you don't have to buy everything in bulk. You can buy just enough to get you started and just keep replenishing depending on how much equipment you're working on per year. For us, we get our everything in bulk because we go through a lot of it. I don't know how many units come through here, but cases of oil filters won't last. Fuel line, most of that gets sold online to smaller shops, maybe like you. Maybe you bought from us before, where you've said, you know, it comes in 2-foot sections. If you order 3 2-foot sections, I'm going to ship you a 6-foot piece. Cut off what you need. A lot of the other sellers will give you cut 2-foot pieces. We give it to you, whatever the length times 2. And then we just roll it out and we cut it as we sell it. Synthetic, it's just less complicated. Grab yourself a couple gallons because it doesn't take long to go through that. Grease, I would go with just 1 tube to start you off because 1 tube will last quite a long time unless you're really hustling. And the same thing with the spark plugs. You know, probably the RC12YC is one of our most common, and you want to make sure to check gaps on your plugs with a gap tester. And then one other thing that I like to put together, Jason, it was his idea, and he sent me a clip this morning on where you can see it actually firing on top next to the spark plug on the head unit. And he was talking about doing a video on what are the weirdest things you've ever seen. And I thought that would be a great idea, you know, a great theme for a video. So I want to put something together for that. And in the comments, if you got something you'd like to add to that video, let me know. And when it comes to getting me the video, if you've got a video of it, you can send it to my email account, which is listed with this account. It's just ediesinc, EDIESINC @gmail. Or you can go to our business Facebook page and then post it there. I figured out how to get them down. Jason and I were playing tag this morning trying to figure out how to get that video downloaded into my unit, and I finally figured it out. So we've got it all figured out. If you want to send it to my Facebook account, great. So on that note, you guys keep it simple, stupid. You don't need to spend a lot of money when you can buy as you need and buy as you go. Alright, thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Hopefully this is going to help you. If you're just a DIYer, you already know what machines you're working on that are your own. Go on eBay, get the filters that you need, spark plugs that you need. If you need a chunk of fuel filter or fuel line, just get a chunk. Go with the synthetic on all your machines at home instead of just one or two. Just simplifies things. And even your homeowner, carry a thing of grease and just a cheap Harbor Freight grease gun. Alright guys,